And here we go once again down the PSO2 New Genesis ban issues that is coming into play now, as I foreseen that it will actually be something that would start happening. But today we are going to be talking about, of course, the whole ban and accusation that it tied to, of course, just some stuff outside of harassment and racism and all that stuff that deserve to be banned 100%. But we do have other stuff coming into play now. How accurate it is, we will have to see. But today, we're going to be discussing some of that stuff that is tied to the ban. Also, some possibilities of way to hopefully help Sega out here. And in return, give better options for everybody involved when it comes to the type of content that is allowed, not allowed, or everything in between for New Genesis. But before we hop into the discussion / new video, if you're new here, and of course I know a lot of you are, make sure you go ahead and do the thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And of course you can support as the wonderful folks here on YouTube through a membership or Patreon or through the Twitch chat, which we will cover later on. So with that out of the way, let's get into this. Let's start discussing what is going on with PSO2 New Genesis ban as of now. So before we hop into the discussion about the bans coming from PSO2 New Genesis and Sega, a few things I want to get out of the way here. First of all, if you are someone who was in the ban list that was tied to the harassment or racism, 100% you deserve to be gone. Hopefully you will never return, and hopefully Sega won't let you. But with that also being said, what we're going to be discussing today when it comes to, well, the bans as a whole outside of, well, the harassment side, just know, do not go after any of the PR team on the global side, because all this type of stuff, to my knowledge, is more than likely probably handled by mainline Sega, especially on the TRS side of the business. So don't harass anybody on Twitter, maybe a PR person or someone else that in branches that have nothing to do with its side of PSO. So with that out of the way, what is going on, you might be wondering, is of course something that I brought up in my last video about the 1600 ban, which is of course, I imagine how most of them banned probably wasn't 100% tied to the harassment or tied to the go farming incident that was happening with bots at fall, and as well as making multiple accounts and that jazz. There was of course going to be some that going to slip through the cracks for other reasons, or maybe just complete accidentally, being terminated. And we have finally started getting to the point where we are starting to see people going forward, posting email, PMs. We're dealing with, of course, the customer service side of Sega about being banned, and the reason they ban, how long, and all that jazz. And the thing that to keep in mind here is the main thing that is frustrating about this is, of course, if your account is banned or terminated for a certain amount of time, you will have no idea of that being the case until you try to log in, and then from there, you will be given an error code. You might be wondering, so why wouldn't you just check your email and see if you got a message from Sega about your ban or termination? That is the thing that is not happening. Since from everything that is being reported, once again, take some of this at a grain of salt, because who knows how much of this stuff is 100% accurate about the graduation or anything in between. But nonetheless, to actually find out if you ban or not, after figuring out what the error code is, you will have to contact the customer service side of Sega to find out what's happening. And this is where some interesting things have started coming to light here. It's not only the bad side of the communication when it comes to the people that are affected here as far as finding out about their account without having to reach out themselves, is of course some of the stuff that have been appealing, such as other reason people might have their account get terminated or be put into a suspended time frame for their character. Which some of the stuff that have been popping up have been, of course, the normal routine with the harassment and whatnot, but others have started appearing, such as, of course, communication in a more role-playing sense, as well as the more exotic sexual side of role-playing as well here. And you might be thinking, oh, if they do it in public, it makes sense they would get their account suspended for a little bit. It have also started appearing to be also happening inside of party chats, inside of lion chat, and inside of just chat that you are in with, ideally, people that you are, equally as into the subject matter and the role playing, which is a very odd turn of pace here, especially when you look at Pat's MMO or a Pat live service game, or seeing how some company handle this situation, such as Square Enix. And if you want more information on that, check out my video about the Final Fantasy brothel situation, and you will see pretty much the night and day distance between the two. But with that being said, on one hand, it makes sense that, Sega would want the community to act a certain way, and they do have the right to do just that, as long as it is in terms of service. But the thing is about this is, of course, the thing that is a little more precedent is, of course, Sega communication on the line of exactly what is allowed and isn't allowed. And it seemed like it pretty much at that point, you're kind of picking and choosing on the other subject outside of harassment. And in return, kind of leaving the community pretty much walking on eggshells in a lot of ways. Any of the people who don't do exotic roleplay or anything, it just also feel that could come down to, maybe they say something in chat to, the friends or significant other or whatever. It might be anyone they might be comfortable with. And in return could horribly just get their account terminated. And especially if you are someone who have been spending hundreds, if not thousands, on PSO and New Genesis, you have a financial incentive to also worry as well. Which in return is kind of, once again, making everybody on eggshell and diluting the community as a whole here. Because why would anyone really bother communicating or playing an MMO with other people if you are really worried about saying one little thing and losing it all? And a lot of that would not be that big of an issue if Sega was more upfront about that. Which in return, on one hand, it's understandable between the red tape from Japan to global and whatnot. And then on top of that, it also probably not ideal for them to exactly break it out in detail, because we all know there are going to be them people who are going to try to put the limit or see how far they can bend the rules. But at the rate this is going, we need a black and white statement as far as what is allowed, or at least some type of breakdown to get somewhat of an ideal where the goalpost is. Because the having it set pretty much to harassment and racism, not a given. But if all this other stuff end up having some weight to it, it pretty much one of them cases nobody know what's exactly going on in return. Like I said, everybody on eggshells here. So ideally, the main thing I would be wanting from this situation is pretty much what I stated in my last video would be, I really wish Sega would come out and just bluntly break down exactly what is happening here and update the term of service, so we all will know, what is or is not allowed, so we know exactly what we are doing here. And in return, that might not affect everybody, but for the people who do get invested into the role-playing stuff especially, and the types of players, all the players that will stay around any far after completing content to just hang around with their friends and, have a fun time, and ideally do it with other people that is as open-minded as they are, which, honestly, I don't see anything wrong with that, as long as everybody on the same page and also probably not publicly doing it. And with that being said here, the other thing that was brought up here from Anamana, which I recommend checking out his video about that. I'll have a link below for this if you're interested. But we brought up the whole idea of having some type of system in place. Might it be like a strike system, so people can keep an eye on what's exactly going on. Which in return, I don't think would work 100%. But it would be nice to know if you had a way to, to once again, not only send you an email when this stuff happened, but it would be nice if we had some type of system inside of PSO. Well, instead of logging in and getting its error code, it would be you log in and would be like, hey, you are suspended for, say, like 24 hours, and then lists the reason. So it would be in an email and on screen as well. And then also have it, well, ideally, probably how that would ideally work would be if you are an account that have been suspended multiple times, having a way to just see how good a standing your account is in. Very similar to a lot of other places, such as like YouTube does this, and some other social sites have also do this as well. Well, if your account get terminated like X amount of time or have so many issues, your account would just be straight up banned. And also, of course, by having the black and white stuff, knowing exactly what line will cross you straight into ban and which one will be a little more, not nearly as, I get, apocalyptic as just being 100% permanently banned here. So I don't think that will be like work very well if it's just updating as like you get a complaint and then they report you on your account. But at least having some way to see your termination, what the reason, how many times you got before you fully banned would be, very helpful in this situation. Or once again, they all could just be taken care of if, honestly, a Sega have all the red tape was nowhere near that bad and we just had proper communication on this stuff. Hopefully, we will get to the point where that will happen. But as of now, I have a feeling they're going to get a lot worse before it get better. And hopefully, with all the reports that are coming out, at least any of some of them might not be accurate. Hopefully, there will be enough that, Sega will say something. At best case scenario, if you are someone who have been affected by the bans, and like I said, you are in the camp that not the harassment racism, if you are, goodbye. If you're not, once again, be sure to reach out to, of course, the Toma Service side and customer service side of PSO2 New Genesis and see if you can find out what exactly is happening. Because that is pretty much your bet shot at that point if you did get terminated. But nonetheless, that is everything that is happening right now. The story will probably keep updating as we go. If something more happens on this scenario, I will update you, all of you guys. But hopefully, here soon we can move past all this eggshell panicness side of the community, and we can get to hopefully speaking of a lot of good stuff. But for now, this is what it is, and I am here to let you guys know what is happening, good or bad, no matter how bad I wished it wasn't the case. But nonetheless, that is how it is. So if you have found it video helpful in any way, shape, or form, make sure you do the thumbs up, subscribe, and of course hit the bell, and let me know below how you are feeling about all this. And of course, if you do want to help out the channel, feel free to join membership by hitting that wonderful join button below. Every little bit helps. And as well as help with my flooding situation, because I'm still living in a box thanks to my house flooding. Yay! Make sure you do that if you're able to and want to. As well as, of course, check out patreon.com/Macon. Or, of course, my Twitch account over on twitch.tv/TroyMacon. Link below, and be like all the wonderful people you see on screen right now. And with that, that will go ahead and do it for me for this video. Once again, let me know below how you guys are feeling about all of this, and were you affected by the little ban wave that went out. And with that, I will go ahead and see you all in the comments.